Unserer Greenfaith Speakers Tour, zu der wir heute hier in Karlsruhe zu Gast sein können. Und wir sind sehr dankbar, dass wir hier in diesem schönen Saal mit funktionierender Technik zu Gast sein können. Und ich danke an den Kirchendiener, der uns hier schon geholfen hat als erstes, dass wir alles hier zurecht aufmachen konnten. Und ich möchte euch kurz mitteilen, warum wir genau hier sind, bevor wir in dieses Thema reingehen. Wir sind hier, weil wir solidarisch sind untereinander und auch über den Atlantik hinweg. Wir sind aufgerufen, an der Seite der Menschen zu stehen, die unter den Klimaschäden weltweit jetzt schon leiden. Und wir sind aufgerufen, für soziale Ungerechtigkeiten Lösungen zu finden und niemanden dafür schuldig zu sprechen. Wir sind aufgerufen, Verantwortung zu übernehmen für uns und für kommende Generationen. Und wir sind aufgerufen zu einer Geschwisterlichkeit, einer globalen, weil wir ein Teil dieser Menschheitsfamilie sind und weil man seinem Bruder und seiner Schwester keinen Schaden anrichten und keinen Schaden zufügen möchte. Und aus Dankbarkeit. Deswegen sind wir auch hier, weil wir ein gutes Leben haben können und es ein Privileg ist, ein gutes Leben zu haben. Und wir sind hier, weil diese Dankbarkeit auch unseren Blick auf die Mitwelt ändert. Jedenfalls kann ich das für mich sagen und für viele, die bei Greenfaith mitarbeiten. Durch diese Dankbarkeit haben wir auch eine Art von Verantwortung dafür, dass andere auch dankbar sein können. Und dafür möchte Greenfaith mitarbeiten. Und das Gute ist, Greenfaith, das darf ich kurz noch dazu sagen, ist hier als Verein organisiert, gibt es aber weltweit. Und das heißt, wir haben so viele Partnerinnen und Partner, unter anderem in Amerika, in verschiedenen Ländern in Afrika, wo sich gegen Pipelinebau einsetzen. Wir sind in Indonesien und in Japan und an ganz vielen anderen Orten der Welt aktiv. Und wir sind eben in diesem Jahr das erste Mal mit 2 US-Speakern auf Tour. Und deswegen ein jetzt schon kurzes, ganz warmes Willkommen an Misha Mayer. Please stand up for a second. Misha Mayer, and a warm applause, please. And also, right now standing in the back, James Hyatt. Diese beiden werden uns im Laufe des Abends, und deswegen sind Sie alle wahrscheinlich hier, ganz viel über das Thema LNG und die Folgen davon und Fracking erzählen. Und wir sind jetzt schon sehr gespannt, weil für uns ist auch das erste Mal, dass wir die Präsentation sehen, keine Sorge. Wir sind alle gemeinsam gespannt. Und mehr hören wir gleich von Ihnen und vorher noch die Lokalgruppen. Und jetzt geht es an Caroline kurz noch.
Well, welcome and good evening to everyone. Who does not understand German in this room? Good. We have good news for you. We got a translator. Markus will translate from German into English. So maybe sit close to him as we continue in the next few minutes, whenever you can. Also wir machen diesen Abend zweisprachig. Wir haben Übersetzungen von, was Deutsch gesagt wird, wird auf Englisch übersetzt für unsere Gäste, damit sie alles verstehen, was hier auch gesagt und gefragt wird und diskutiert wird. Und wir haben im Teil, wenn Sie auf Englisch sprechen werden, die Möglichkeit auch auf Deutsch zu übersetzen. Wer würde gerne eine Übersetzung hören auf Deutsch? Ganz mutig, ganz mutig. Wir machen es sowieso. Einfach sagen, kurz, genau. 3, 4, 5 Leute, sehr gut. Dann würde ich das gern kurz organisieren, weil dann machen wir das als Flüsterdolmetschen. Das heißt, ich setze mich dann zu euch und würde das von Englisch auf Deutsch übersetzen. Wäre es möglich, dass ihr euch einmal so ein bisschen zusammensetzt? Vielleicht jetzt schon. Alle, die die Übersetzung bekommen. Vielleicht können sich alle nochmal melden, die gerne Übersetzung wollen? Okay, dann machen wir vielleicht diese letzte Reihe, die Übersetzungsreihe. Und bitte einen Platz freilassen, dass ich hinter euch sitzen kann. Oh, ich stelle einen Stuhl dann dazu. Yeah. I'll get a chair and sit behind you. Okay, super. Sehr gut, Dankeschön. Durch den Abend führt uns Jesse und ich bin Caroline. Wir sind von Greenfaith in Deutschland. Und wir haben was mitgebracht, nicht nur unsere Gäste, sondern wir haben hier einen roten Teppich mitgebracht. Habt ihr vielleicht schon gesehen? Es ist vielleicht ein roter Teppich, um alle zu ehren und tolle Fotos zu machen. Es ist vielleicht aber auch kein roter Teppich, es ist unsere rote Linie. Wir wollen auf unserer Speakers Tour eine rote Linie durch Deutschland tragen und sagen, Stop LNG. Das muss aufhören. Und wir wollen ein Ende der fossilen Ära mit unterstützen. Wir wollen dazu aufrufen und das machen wir mit der roten Linie. Und diese rote Linie ist hier noch sehr jungfräulich als roter Teppich ausgerollt. Wir möchten sie aber gerne mit euch, mit euren Herzen und Händen füllen. Deswegen sage ich jetzt schon, dass diese rote Linie heute sich alles anhört, was hier gesagt wird. Und wir am Ende der Veranstaltung diese rote Linie draußen in den Hof legen. Und wer möchte, darf einen Handabdruck da lassen. Wir haben Fingermalfarbe, die geht auch gut wieder ab. Ihr dürft da einmal drauf drücken. Ihr könnt auch gerne was dazu schreiben. Oder einfach eure Hand da lassen. Und wir sammeln diese Handabdrücke auf unseren Stationen. Ich glaube, wir haben 8 Städte, durch die wir jetzt reisen werden die nächsten Tage. Und wir nehmen dieses Banner mit nach Stuttgart, nach Bonn zu den Klimaverhandlungen und im Klimacamp, nach Dortmund, nach Wilhelmshaven, an die LNG-Terminals. Wir fahren vielleicht mit dem Boot raus und gehen ganz nah ran. Nach Hamburg und dann nach Berlin. Und wir möchten gerne auf dem Weg eure Unterstützung sammeln und diese rote Linie gemeinsam ausrollen. Deswegen lasst uns die rote Linie heute am Ende noch gut füllen. Dazu schon mal herzlich eingeladen. Ja, und damit wir alle jetzt in Bewegung kommen, haben wir unser Tourlied mitgebracht, unser Greenfaith-Lied. Das wurde komponiert von Greenfaith, vom internationalen Team, zusammen mit den Peace Poets. Und das wollen wir gerne mit euch gemeinsam singen. Hier ist einmal der Text auf Englisch, das kriegen wir gemeinsam hin. Ich lese den gleich einmal vor. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. Und warum dieser Text? Wir werden uns erheben wie das Wasser, wie eine Welle. Wir werden dieser Krise ins Auge blicken. Ich höre die Stimme meiner Urenkelin. Und diese Zeile ist wichtig, weil sie kommt aus den indigenen Weisheiten des 7-Generationen-Denkens. Dass alle Entscheidungen und Taten, die wir heute machen, Auswirkungen auf die 7. Generation nach uns haben. Wenn wir das bei allen berücksichtigen würden, würden wir sicherlich eine andere Welt schon heute haben. Und deswegen diese Erinnerung, I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter in the future. Saying, keep it in the ground. Wir müssen es heute in der Erde lassen, nicht rausholen, nicht rausfracken, nicht rausbohren, nicht raus befördern. Wir hören nachher, wie das gemacht wird. Wir lassen es drin. Das ist das Lied. Und jetzt singe ich es einmal vor und das Team kann mich gerne unterstützen. Ihr könnt dazu vielleicht schon mal anfangen, auf dem Stuhl so zu machen. Wir laufen ein bisschen durch Karlsruhe. Wir stampfen das in den Boden, was drin bleiben soll. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. Nochmal. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. Wow, super schön. Jetzt, wenn jemand gerne eine hohe Stimme hat, die ein bisschen moduliert, kann bei Great-Granddaughter Folgendes singen. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. Wer dazu Lust hat, singt das mit mir einfach mit. Und nochmal. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground. People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face
just now I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground.
Jetzt laden wir Katharina vom Klimabündnis Karlsruhe ein.
So, ich werde mich etwas kürzer fassen. Mein Name ist Katharina Voss, ich bin Co-Sprecherin im Klimabündnis Karlsruhe und wir freuen uns natürlich sehr, dass so zahlreiche Leute gekommen sind und dass wir mit einladen dürfen zu dieser Veranstaltungsreihe und dass wir auch der erste Point sind, der erste Startpunkt sind und sind auch sehr gespannt. Klimabündnis Karlsruhe setzt sich eben auch in Karlsruhe dafür ein, dass der Ausstieg aus den fossilen Energiegewinnungen schneller passiert. Also Karlsruhe denkt darüber nach, noch ein Gaskraftwerk zu bauen. Das ist unter anderem ein großer Punkt, für den wir uns einsetzen, dass wir das nicht mehr wollen. Genau, und ansonsten bin ich genauso gespannt wie alle, die hier sitzen und freue mich auf einen informativen Abend, in dem auch viel Austausch stattfindet, nachher im Nachgang noch und wünsche allen viel gute Unterhaltung und viel Information hauptsächlich.
Es ist jetzt ein bisschen wie das Warm-up, bevor der große Act und die beiden Speaker gleich dran sind. Aber uns war es wichtig, die lokalen Gruppen, die uns ja auch als Greenfaith so doll supportet haben, beim Unterstützen als erstes sprechen zu lassen. Und daher als erstes vielen Dank ans Klimabündnis. Durch euch haben wir auch noch am Samstag, also vor 2 Tagen, nochmal groß bei der Konferenz der Engagierten hier in Karlsruhe im Tollhaus werben können. Und an ganz vielen anderen Orten hat uns Ingo ganz viel geholfen. Dazu am Ende auch noch ein bisschen mehr. Und ich würde jetzt auch nochmal eine lokale Gruppe oder einen ihrer Sprecher nach vorne bitten, und zwar das Widerstandskollektiv hier in Karlsruhe, die uns genauso supportet haben. Und wird dazu Carlito, und jetzt habe ich gerade deinen Namen nicht mehr parat, Carlito und Lisa, einmal das Mikro geben und das mache ich ja wieder richtig.
Genau. Ihr sagt, wofür ihr steht und wofür ihr eigentlich gerade hier in Karlsruhe kämpft.
Gerne. Ja. Hi, ich bin Carlito vom Widerstandskollektiv.
Ich bin Lisa, auch vom Widerstandskollektiv.
Sorry. Genau, wir sind eine bundesweite und österreichweite Kollektiv an Menschen, die wir uns gegen die Ungerechtigkeit entgegenstellen und für das gute Leben für alle stehen. Das machen wir mit direkten Aktionen. Wie sieht sowas aus? In Karlsruhe zum Beispiel haben wir uns letztes Jahr viel für eine Mobilitätswende eingesetzt und haben Zebrastreifen und Radwege in Karlsruhe gemalt, wo wir sie für sinnvoll halten und damit das Leben für Fußgehende und Radfahrende direkt verbessert. Dieses Jahr haben wir eine Kampagne Karlsruhe nicht verheizen gegen die ENBW, wo wir von der ENBW fordern, dass sie sich für die Menschenrechte entlang ihrer ganzen Lieferkette einsetzt, also vor allem auch in den USA. Und wir fordern, dass das RDK 9 verhindert wird und nicht gebaut wird. Genau, soweit erst noch von uns. Noch mehr?
Ich hatte jedenfalls vor, euch zu fragen, ob ihr direkt ans Widerstandskollektiv oder ans Klimabündnis so 1, 2 Fragen habt. Falls ihr noch nicht von ihnen gehört habt, dann ist jetzt schon die erste Chance. Okay. Ich weiß aber, dass ihr auch gut zu finden seid, manchmal durch spannende Aktionen in verschiedenen Orten in der Stadt. Jetzt zum Beispiel durch Plakate am Bahnhof. Sind die immer noch da? Ja, okay. Also ENBW hat gegebenenfalls mal andere Plakate am Bahnhof. Nicht von sich auf, aber es sind Plakate aufgetaucht in der Stadt. Das war das, was ich sagen wollte.
Genau, nur dazu vielleicht, also ENBW ist einer der Hauptabnehmer von dem Frackinggas, das aus Louisiana ja groß kommt. Von daher ist es so wichtig, dass wir auch hier in Karlsruhe Protest haben, weil hier wird das quasi bezahlt, die Umweltschäden und die Menschenrechtsverletzungen, die dort passieren. Und die ENBW gibt sich hier immer sehr gern als sehr grün und sehr nachhaltig, weil hier sehen wir nichts von den ganzen Fracking und den Umweltschäden. Und es ist wichtig, dass wir uns da dagegen stellen. Und da sind zum Beispiel Plakate in der Stadt, vor allem am Bahnhof ausgetaucht, die einfach ein bisschen ehrlicher sind als was sonst auf den Plakaten von der ENBW steht. Da steht nämlich drauf,
Zukunft nachhaltig verheizen.
Genau, Zukunft nachhaltig verheizen. Und das finde ich ist ein sehr, sehr viel ehrlicherer Spruch als die Sprüche, die sonst die ENBW auf ihren Plakaten hat. Genau.
Thank you.
Dankeschön und auch vielleicht ein kleiner Applaus für dich ins Kollektiv. Und danke für euren Support. Now's the time. I think I didn't ask you. Okay, James goes first. So, a really, really warm welcome once again for James Hyatt from Louisiana. And I just pass the mic to you, and I'll just start the presentation, and I will click you through, or will you?
Yeah,
okay.
That'll work. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you for spending time this evening with us. I am James Hyatt. I'm from Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is on the south coast of the United States, right next to Texas. We are right on the Texas and Louisiana border. I brought a little mascot here tonight. This is a vulture. Vultures are good animals. They clean up, but we have been calling one of these companies Vulture Global because they have come in and their name is Venture Global. But anyway, this little mascot, it's got a pin that says Stop Fracked Gas Exports. And so what we're asking Germany is to stop fracked gas imports. This gas is different than conventional drilling, where we would find a reservoir and just stick a straw in. This destroys a lot of land, and all of it. Our fossil fuel dependency, I think you probably know this, has caused suffering from the time we started extracting carbon from underground in whatever flavor it is. If it was coal or oil or gas, it is not clean. It comes with a lot of externalized costs that are borne by communities, that are borne by people's health, suffering, premature death, asthma. They have wrecked the ecosystem. This is a picture of a gathering we had right across where the sun is setting. They are building another LNG export terminal right now. This is the only place. We already have a lot of petrochem, refineries, plastic plants in Lake Charles. This was the only place you could watch the sunset over the river without industrial distillation towers flaring, and now they are already destroying that. And this picture was about 2 years ago. You can go next. This is what we're talking about. These ships would bring the gas from Lake Charles to Wilhelmshaven. That is where most of the gas is going from. This is the mouth of the Karlsruhe River, where I'm from, in southwest Louisiana. You can see the river is not very wide. It is only really wide enough for one ship. This is a place that has abundance of fish. It was the seafood capital of the United States. And now it is being turned into an industrial wasteland to satisfy dependency on fossil fuels. Next. Why are we here? Why did I come from Louisiana to Karlsruhe, to Germany? Because EnBW has signed purchasing agreements with this Vulture Global, and the gas that is produced by fracking in West Texas, piped to Louisiana, is put on ships and delivered to Europe. Next slide. This is what fracking looks like in West Texas. You can go on Google Photos and you can take a look. Each one of these patches is a frack site. Where we used to find a reservoir of oil and stick a straw in, we no longer can do that, and so they have to continue drilling new sites to maintain the production levels. So, I mean, this stretches on from miles and miles and miles in West Texas. And in order to continue keeping the output, they will have to keep drilling more and more. And when they drill horizontally. What comes up is not just oil and gas, it's also water. They call it produced water. It is actually a toxic soup. It has all kinds of hydrocarbons. Children who grow up near frack sites are 2 to 3 times more likely to have leukemia. They will contract leukemia because hydrocarbons directly cause health impacts. Next slide. This is a mural in Cameron, Louisiana, where I'm from, and it mentions that there's no pollution, no traffic lights, no city police, no trains, just boats. There's one road down and then boats. This was painted in 1975. Today, there's still no trains, but there's a lot more boats, and they're not catching fish and shrimp. They're exporting liquefied natural gas, mostly to Europe. The reason why I'm here is also not just the environmental harms, but the climate harms. This was a shrine, the Star of the Sea, that was erected in 1963 after 2 major hurricanes came through Cameron. At the bottom, it says, "Do not harm my children," and she's actually pointing towards the mouth of the river. Because those 2 hurricanes, Camille and Audrey, killed over 500 people in Louisiana. This is before we had early warning systems and it was devastating. Between 1963 and 2005, we did not have any hurricanes. So for 40 years, there was nothing. The town was built up. Over a couple thousand people lived there. Next slide.
Yes,
yeah. And these are the hurricanes that we've had just since 2005. The named storms. Lake Charles is here. You may know New Orleans. If you know Louisiana, you probably know New Orleans, which is over here. And in 2005 was Hurricane Katrina, which is well known and talked about hurricane. The same year, 2005, Hurricane Rita completely destroyed Cameron Parish. My parents' house in Lake Charles wasn't destroyed, but was affected. And anyway, the point is, the storms are more frequent and they're very strong. I don't think I have to convince this room that climate change is real and is directly tied to our collective dependency on fossil fuels. And we know this, and somehow we are continuing to double down on a system that is causing harm, not just to Louisiana, but every place, every corner of this earth is affected. In 2020, we had Hurricane Delta and Hurricane Laura. And if you can see, they're 14 miles apart. That's where they came ashore. 6 weeks. One was in August, the other was in October. A tree fell on my house in Lake Charles. There's not a safe corner of this earth. The sea levels will be rising, and more stronger storms, droughts, wildfires. All of this is tied to collective dependency on fossil fuels. This is the mouth of the river you saw at the first picture. From 1998 until 2023. You can watch the coastline erode. We lose a football field of land in Louisiana every 90 minutes. This is real. This is happening. This is not some globalist conspiracy. Our dependency on fossil fuels, the burning of carbon that we extracted from underground and added to the atmosphere, is wreaking havoc on every corner. And so the administration, the fossil fuel industry, so many people want to continue doubling down on the system because they have sold the world that gas is clean. It's better than coal. It's not going to, it'll be a bridge to something. It's a bridge to the continuation of profiteering by a few at the expense of everyone. This is what's already existing. You can see there's actually one more right here. Venture Global Plaquemines LNG is built and operating and exporting today. FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission of the United States, this was just last week. They don't count it as completed because they're still building, but they are exporting. So next slide.
Yes.
These are the ones under construction. There are 2 under construction in southwest Louisiana. 2 more. There's 2 right across the Texas border in Port Arthur. This is Plaquemines LNG they're considering under construction. And then there's all these other ones that are not approved yet, not under construction. But they are approved, not under construction. Next slide. These are even more that they are proposing. They don't care. They don't care about the climate impacts. All they want is the money as fast as they can. We don't have a system where our voice is actually being heard by the halls of power. So even with environmental impacts, even with the harms that we know are directly associated, that is not stopping them from getting built. What could stop them from getting built is the demand side, understanding that there are real harms caused. Suffering, death, miscarriages. I didn't speak. We have a very pro-life movement. They rolled back Roe versus Wade. We're pro-life, but we don't care. After you're born, it doesn't matter. Is that what it seems like? Next slide. This is just another list of how much. This is 27 billion cubic feet per day. If they build all of these, just on the southwest side of Louisiana. On southeast, it's 13. We don't need this much gas, right? They're trying to find places to put it. Wow. So this is their logo. We have doctored a little bit to say Vulture Global, and that we don't want any sacrifice zones. Every person's life is precious. We should be cognizant of that fact that, like, our life is just as precious as any other life. If you took the Russian gas, if you take the U.S. gas, if the gas is coming from Mozambique, if it's coming from Argentina, the impacts caused by the dependency and the infrastructure are never mitigated, and suffering is never accounted for by the companies. It's always accounted for in the communities. This is why we're here. Venture Global. 22%, 21 million tons of this is their total cargo exports. Most of it is coming to Europe. Initially it was sold as it's going to be helping Asia and Southeast Asia electrify and get off of coal. The honest truth, it is coming here. And some of this is because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This was sold as some freedom gas. It's not free. It has a high cost to people's lives. And these are the people we're talking about, the oyster fishermen. This was taken a year ago when I went out oystering with them. There's about 200 fishermen that oyster. This is a small percentage of the boats. And we live in a place that is abundant with, they call it Sportsman's Paradise. It's the name of Louisiana because it is abundant with fish, biodiversity. But that is being wrecked by these companies. In August of this year, while they were dredging to build this new CP2 terminal, they pumped the mud from the bottom of the river as fast as they could. They were saying they were rebuilding the marsh that had been destroyed. But you can see there's not supposed to be any mud anywhere here. The picture where we were oystering is over here. All of this mud got out into the river and is destroying destroyed oyster reefs. These were farmed oysters. They're floating in cages above the water. They should not have any mud on them. They are completely covered in mud, and the insides, they are inedible. So we have completely wrecked an industry and a livelihood where people were depending on the land, what has been provided for, the systems that have sustained for generations, are being destroyed recklessly, almost intentionally, by a company that only cares about the profit and doesn't care about the people. And this is what we're talking about. This is our governor, who is also trying to be the emissary to Greenland, Jeff Landry, talking about all pipelines lead to Louisiana for export. We should be. They have been extracting gas for over 100 years. We should be one of the richest places in the world. But instead, Louisiana has the highest poverty rate in the United States, the wealthiest country that has ever existed. We are the poorest. We have the poorest folks in this place, and that is where they're putting it. It's absurd to continue down this pathway. Next slide. These are some of the fishermen. We were outside of an LNG conference where people from around the world, these industries, talking about how much prosperity there will be how much money they're making, how they're delivering on climate goals. There's no chance that's true. LNG is dirtier than coal, just as dirty or dirtier than coal. Let's see. And this is the point. This is hurricane damage here. This is what prosperity looks like to the people of Louisiana. Continued wrecked homes, wrecked businesses. This was taken last year. The hurricanes were 5 years before. They still haven't cleaned up this mess. Meanwhile, there's prosperity for a few people being exported on a ship coming to Europe. You have to understand that that's why we're here, because what is going on may benefit a few people. We all love to have the electricity on and the lights to turn on when we flip the switch. But if we understand the full cost of the dependency on fossil fuels and the suffering that's at the hands of people who now have asthma or miscarriages, these are real impacts. There are studies that show that dependency on hydrocarbon fossil fuels is driving suffering. It's immediately dangerous to your life and health if you happen to be by a pipeline that explodes. In the rush to build a new export terminal, a floating liquefaction plant like you have in Wilhelmshaven, you have a floating ship that is regasifying. They're trying to put one offshore. This pipeline exploded. Nobody was told. They found out about it from the news, from their neighbors passing by. The government said, oh, it was one minor injury. Next slide. This is a Jeep. It wasn't a minor injury. The man who was in this Jeep was hurt significantly. Our government is not telling us the full truth. They're not listening to the people. And that's why we're here, because we have got to raise the awareness. It's not just the climate. It doesn't have to just come to your door, the climate impacts. ENBW is complicit in the harms that are being caused. Not just in Louisiana. Everywhere that there is a contract for continued dependency on fossil fuels, there is complicity in the harms that are caused. This is the plan for the next few years. This is what the Trump administration and the fossil fuel executives want to do. You can see all of the import facilities. They want to build some more in Greece. They want to say that, oh, we're saving Ukraine. We're gonna fuel Eastern Europe, they need this gas to be processed. That's not true, and so that's why we're in Europe speaking today. So I'll stop there. You can follow us on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube or whatever, or you can send me an email. Anyway, thank you all so much, and I'm so happy to be here. Thanks.
He's walking away now. Thank you so much for your witness and for the work that you do with the communities. Dankeschön für das Zeugnis, was du für uns, für die Gemeinschaften hier abgelegt hast und deren Stimme reingebracht hast. Thank you so much. And the best thing is, das Beste ist, ihr braucht keine Nachricht auf Instagram oder per E-Mail schreiben, sondern James ist heute hier und wir können noch ein bisschen was fragen. Und wer jetzt noch eine direkte inhaltliche Frage hat, if anybody has a direct question to some of the input, ask it now, otherwise we continue with Misha. Wenn ihr noch eine Frage habt, jetzt gerade, danach ist auch noch Zeit. Ja, bitte.
Why don't they export, or why don't they export so much to Europe and so little to in the States of gas?
To where? Why do they come to Europe and not where?
Not to the in US.
Oh, because we have too much. We have enough. They have drilled so much that there's an excess. So we are, this energy independence. We have made enough by fracking. We have enough oil and gas. We don't need all of this gas. It's only for making exports and making profit. And the real reason, because in Louisiana, in the United States, it usually costs I don't know what the rate is today, but it's about $3 per million BTU. In Europe, sometimes it's $25, $30. It costs them $5 per million BTU to ship. so they double their money by sending it to Europe. The bottom line is profit. It has nothing to do with sustainability or anything else. It's only how much money we can make, how quick can we make it, and that is what's driving all of this.
How about nuclear power plants?
Nuclear. We have some nuclear in Louisiana. I won't speak too much about. I think there are other ways. The one good thing about nuclear is it seems like people care a lot about that waste, and they're very careful with the nuclear waste. If they were that careful with the mess that is made from oil and gas, maybe we wouldn't have such a mess. But they just let it. Anyway. I'm no nuclear expert. Maybe there's a lot of other harms there too, but for sure, I do know that there's something that rises every single day. And it seems like that might be actual solution that we could double down on instead of continuing fossil fuel dependency.
According to my information, it's about 80% is fracking gas from the complete volume. What is about with the other 20%? Is it possible to see that, or is there differentiation between these two volumes?
There may be some data. I don't have this data. These are from conventional wells. We still have producing wells in the Gulf of Mexico, but in order they don't have any new in the shelf. There's a shelf that extends in the Gulf of Mexico, and then it drops off, and it's deep water. And BP is currently trying to drill another deep water well. If you were familiar in 2010, Deepwater Horizon, where we had this massive oil spill from a deep water well. We have basically tapped out the easy to get to reserves that are just offshore. And there's over 6,000 abandoned orphaned wells in Louisiana. We have extracted all we can from the easy to get to stuff. What's left is fracking, and they make a pretty good. It's all about profit. Whatever can make the most money is where they go, and that's why they're fracking and trying now this new Cascadia, BP's offshore deep water.
Are these pure gas fields, or are they mixed with oil?
Some of them are mixed. You're asking if most of it. What they were doing in the Permian Basin is flaring and burning all of the gas to get the oil. And so now they built these pipelines to export, so that we're not wasting the gas. It's being used. But the reality is that if we pull carbon from underground, whatever flavor, and add it to the atmosphere, either venting or flaring, it is continuing to cause the problem of climate change.
If this is going to the pipeline, where is the point where the liquid natural gas is being compressed?
At the terminal. It is piped through compressor stations. At the terminal, it gets liquefied. Okay. Thank you.
And James is still here, so. Wir können noch danach ein bisschen weiter sprechen. Ich gebe das Mikro weiter an Misha. Thank you so much for being here, Misha. And stage is yours, and I'll just start your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. And my name is Misha Mayer. I grew up in New Orleans, though I do have a connection here as well. I work. Oh, can we go back?
Yeah, of course.
I work with an organization called Habitat Recovery Project, which works alongside James in Southwest Louisiana, and I am here today because EMBW came. We brought these complaints to EMBW, all of these concerns, and they came to speak with our fishermen directly and do an assessment of the risks, do a risk assessment about what is happening. And they were so rude to our fishermen that they did not want to come here to speak with you themselves because they felt incredibly dismissed for the very real harms that they are experiencing. So I am here to be an ambassador for the community harms that are being experienced by LNG export, and give you a little bit more detail about what that looks like. So this is Cameron. You may have seen it. This is actually Hackberry, which is up north of Cameron, but you may notice that it is beautiful marshlands, very biodiverse ecosystem that's very, very necessary ecologically to Southwest Louisiana. And you can click through. And this is what is happening at a alarming rate. You saw the graphs from James. They are going up faster and faster. So you may think that all of this money would make sure that such an organization would have the finest standards for the work that they are doing, right? They are making billions of dollars. They are not paying tax credits to be in Louisiana. You would assume that they would have it under control, that they would be the best that they could be, right? That's the assumption. But within 2024, CP1 had 85% permit violations, which is flaring the methane and the volatile organic compounds and the particulate matter up into the air in Cameron next to people's homes. And so the community is experiencing extreme health issues. People are going to the doctor, which no longer exists in Cameron, 3 times a week with their kids, was what we heard recently. For the past 3 years, they don't know what's wrong. But we can kind of see through this barbed wire fence that keeps the library from the facility what is wrong. It is a mile away. And the people don't understand why they have asthma, why they ever, like their whole family is dying of cancer, or what is happening to people's hearts. And it is the air pollution in the communities, which is coming because they are underregulated in Louisiana. Louisiana is captured. Our government, I would say the United States is captured by oil companies. I think that all of our politicians are bought. So we are not a country that has a functioning democracy. We are an oil baron that is extracting from the resources that we have in order to make as much money as possible for interested corporations, which is unfortunate. As a solutions-oriented gal, I was like, let's get some air monitors up. Let's see what's happening. So I wrote a grant and we got this fancy air monitor. Thank you. That we put up at the public library next to the facility. And in the first 4 months, there were only 10 days out of 111 days where the particulate matter in the air stayed good for 24 hours. I'm curious if this video will work.
We will make it work.
Okay. This is testimony from from someone who lives at the doorstep of the facility. And
And I'm breathing this in. Stay sick. The last 6 months I've been sick just about every day. Got sinus, got cold. I passed the Venture Global probably a year ago, coming in from tripping out the Gulf. And I had 2 deckhands. My grandson Coach from the 3rd, a Randall Lady, working deckhand with me. And we've been trying to get in touch with y'all see about the air pollution. I got one in my yard, trying to monitor what's going on. And when I passed Venture Global coming in, it smelled like rotten eggs. My 2 deckhands come to the cabin and know you. Somebody ain't doing the job. They blowing cement on us, they're blowing dust on us, and they're turning gas leaks on us. It's your job to see that.
Halbwegs verstehe das ganz okay. Kannst du etwas zusammenfassen? Can you maybe summarize some of that?
Yeah.
And I'll just continue then.
Yes. There's new construction for CP2, which is going to be massive. It's a much larger facility that's going up next to the first facility, and the cement dust from that, from creating this new facility is blowing on this man's boat and car where he has to pressure wash it off every day. He is showing up to an unrelated Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality meeting to try to be heard by our public officials. This was for a wastewater permit that we were at. You can see my hat on the corner of that video over there, but Philip Dyson lives at the front of it, and his family, he's lost several family members to cancer over the past few years. It's alarming.
Okay. Should I continue the video?
No.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
No, we can.
Okay. Thanks.
That's So that's just the construction of CP1, or the construction of CP2 and CP1. You can go to the next one.
Sorry. Yeah.
In addition to that, we're experiencing underwater noise pollution, so we've decided to get hydrophones out. You can see our executive director. I took this photo. We went out on the boats. We put the microphones in the water to try to understand the underwater noise pollution brought by all of the ship traffic. The ships are coming in, how many tons a day? Like 12, 20 now? James, do you know? The ship traffic? Yeah. And it's going to be, Ray, who's right here, called me 4 days ago and said that the last time I was on his boat 6 months ago, the ship traffic was 4 times as bad now. So that's just giving you, it's exponential. And the expansion, this is from April. This is a picture going up to look at the facilities in April, and all of that estuary is now a facility, and people live next to these facilities. You can, and I wanted to just draw this this point real quick. When I was here, I had the benefit of being in Germany last year, and at the tail end of our trip, the U.S. And the EU came to this agreement to buy $750 billion in energy. The next day, Venture Global announced the final investment to continue the construction of CP2, which is the massive facility that's being built in Cameron. And then a week later, on August 5th, James posted a video of dredge sediment just spewing out on the estuary. You saw the picture of all the mud. And that's what happens when someone gives you a bunch of money to do something as fast as possible. When you get a bunch of money to do something as fast as possible, you're not going through your paces. You are not being careful or mindful. You are just going as fast as possible to be as rich as possible. And so that is what we found happened. And we were lucky enough to have a videographer present to produce this video about the incident. So thank you for sitting as I let the community voices speak for themselves.
It's literally killing everything. Everything's dead. Everything's smothered in mud. We have well over 100,000 of them dead and dying. They're dying as you take them out of the water.
Today, we are here in the beautiful marshlands of Cameron Parish, Louisiana. Right now, these marshlands are under siege by the great LNG build-out, liquefied natural gas, which freezes methane to negative 260 degrees, exports it around the world from Cameron Parish. This is the biggest fossil fuel build-out in the world of our lifetime, and all of this is at risk.
Over there. This is CP2. That's all this is CP2, all the way around.
I've been doing this for like 48, 50 years. Making a living doing this. We have a really good time, like going tripping. When you go before the sunset, you watch it. You trip all night and watch the sun come up in the morning.
Beautiful, you know? Your own boss, your own boat, your own tongue.
You know what I'm saying? But if we don't stick together in Cameron, then all that's going to be gone. You best believe them plants want it gone.
This week we had a major incident. They are moving the mud from this island up into the marshes to create more marshland. However, it breached, and we had over 200 million gallons spill into our wetlands.
What we're doing today is going to be very important because they are saying that nothing is on the oysters and nothing is polluting the water and nothing is, all this stuff is not happening, but when you go out there and test it yourself and send it off, or have somebody here that's professional to test that, find out that it's true.
We're going to try this. We don't know what it's going to do, how it's going to work yet, but we're going to try this intervention so we can see if they have anything on the bottom that we can see. And that's what we got. That looked like sludge down there to me. Water's a little clearer up here.
Today is August 21st. We're out here from the building where it is 10 a.m. and 10:12 a.m. And we just took a sample in our DIY boring device. And it looks like the sediment is cloudy up to about 10 inches.
They're saying it didn't get to this reef. See how there's no mud? But look at this side. Look at the mud. That's settlement. That's all set on top of these oysters.
It's killing crabs, it's killing fish, it's killing shrimp, it's killing oysters. They're killing the wild oysters, and they have considerable amounts of silt all over the reef. Like in some places it's extremely bad. Why would you get a liquid gas plant here that don't pay no taxes? Boy, that makes sense to it. But Venture Global come out here and start polluting everything and they just get away with it. Stop free.
We got a 6-year-old coming out. Would you love to come out there with that boat and go out there? Well, she gonna have to come out there too. We need our livelihood. We need cameras. We need our fishing. We need our shrimping. We need our oystering. We need all that. They come here and destroy it. What we gonna have?
Thank you for sitting with the fishermen and what they've had to say. They, again, brought these concerns to EMBW, these fishermen specifically, and were dismissed. And I want to say a moment about the dredge spoil. There have been many toxic releases in the Cameron Parish, in the Karlsruhe River over the past 20 years. So the sediment that's on the bottom, you don't know what's in it. You don't know what has covered the oysters, but we do know that covering oysters even this much causes a mass extinction. So it's destroying livelihoods and estuaries. This one incident that is still unresolved, unfortunately. The communities want what every UN human rights, but they are owed through UN human rights statutes, right? They want the right to health, they want the right to livelihood, and their culture. And in their demands, they are asking for financial institutions to stop financing liquefied natural gas plants. The exports are dirty. Is different now than it was 20 years ago. And I know I've given you a lot of information, and I can't imagine that you want more, but if you do, you can scan the QR code. And there are many people who are much smarter and who have done a lot more work than I have, who have written beautiful pieces on what this means and why it matters. Thank you.
Talk about that picture.
Oh, yes, you're right, James. What's happening in this photo? You may think that these are blue skies over here, and that this is a contained system. But this is an OGI camera, which is an optical gas imaging camera, which shows you the methane that it leaks. Because the ships are not secure. They leak and poof methane into the air as they are shipped. And there are just going to be so many more of these ships being created, just like these little methane puff balls. And methane heats the earth at a rate so much higher than CO2. 80
times.
Yeah, 80 times more than carbon dioxide. It evaporates faster, but it's just it's an accelerant for global warming, methane. And liquefied natural gas is just methane. So it's a crisis for our globe, and we really. But I would like to say that as we make the sun hotter and hotter, it just makes solar energy just so much more appealing. So there's got to be a tipping point where we hit the point where we've made it too hot to do anything but solar. So I believe in us.
Thank you so much, Mita. Und nur als Reminder, nur als Information, es gibt da auch diesen QR-Code zum Scannen, falls es jetzt zu schwierig ist, ihn von da aus auf die Kamera zu kriegen, stelle ich da auch aus. Once again, thank you so much. If you have any questions, wenn ihr Fragen an Misha gerade direkt habt, an den Inhalt, es gibt auf jeden Fall Fragen. Misha, do you want to come up again?
To my understanding, the EPA has a lot of environmental measuring programs. Well, is the EPA still not existing? Is this a last development under Trump, or was it the years before the same? Because to my knowledge is that the EPA has very strict, in Texas it was so, very strict environmental measuring programs where all the flares has been measured, where all the environmental things has been measured. Is this everything over now?
So while the EPA has had measurements somewhere, they don't have any here, which is unfortunate. We would love EPA grade monitors. I've asked. It was not great under Biden. It is very bad under Donald Trump. James, you got an input on that one?
I mean, the reality is the regulations that we have to be enforced.
Are they still existing, or does Trump say close everything?
I don't know if this methane, the methane rule that they were talking about for Texas, specifically the Permian Basin, was self-reported, right? The people, we know folks who have been monitoring with these optical gas imaging cameras, which is the problem. You can't see the methane, so it's not like a flare. And so if you don't have a camera, you don't know that it's happening. And the satellite, there was Environmental Defense Fund had a satellite that was capturing this. Somehow, mysteriously, the satellite went offline after a year of measuring. So the reality is there's not a good program in place, and Trump has pulled back pretty much all regulation, even on the hazardous air pollutants. There was a Hahn rule. All of the little headway that we had made had been pulled back under this administration, and maybe there was 2 offshore wind. Total Energies had one. I think RWE had one, where Trump has now refunded their money for the wind as long as they reinvested in fossil fuels. So this is a top-down situation where the doubling down on the dependency. I don't know if that was helpful.
Okay, I'm very sorry because there is one more slide.
Oh, it's just my hello goodbye.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you a beautiful sunset.
Yes.
On the boat and what we're fighting for, and it's just Louisiana seafood and Louisiana way of life and the culture.
Yes. And there's still more questions.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you mentioned that VW was at your home and talked to the local people. Are there any records publicly available about that?
They put it in a document that they came and looked and talked to them, and they had their own. I can afterwards we can find it.
That would be great. Yeah.
I can also forward you the text message that I got from the fisherman that told me what to tell the ENBW. I can't say it in public.
Especially not in a church.
Yeah.
Not in it. No, they are not happy.
Gibt's noch weitere Fragen?
eine Runde noch Applaus. Vielen Dank, Misha. Und ich gebe euch nochmal die Zusatzinfo mit, dass ja gerade auch innerhalb der EU gerade ganz heftig an der Methanrichtlinie geknuspert wird, sage ich mal so freundlich. Das heißt, es wird heftig lobbyiert von ganz vielen Energiekonzernen, dass diese EU-Methanrichtlinie, die genau solche Sachen verhindern soll, dass die noch weiter entkernt und im Prinzip eigentlich wie ein Papiertiger am Ende dastehen soll. Weil genau diese Sachen sind jetzt schon ganz schwer zu messen oder eigentlich gar nicht, wenn nicht jemand ehrenamtlich mit einer Gas sichtbar machenden, bildgebenden Kameratechnik, die mehrere 10.000 Euro kostet, daneben steht, das sichtbar macht. Diese Messungen sozusagen werden eben auch in den USA ganz häufig von ehrenamtlichen Teams gemacht, die das durch irgendwelche Private Funds, die so eine Kamera haben, kaufen können, aber der Staat oder die Behörden, die das regulieren sollen, regulieren es eben nicht. Und weil das auf der Seite funktioniert, wird jetzt auch versucht, das auf der EU, also auf der Importseite, auch noch weiter auszuhöhlen, dass noch mehr Methan und LNG eben nach Europa kommen kann. Das noch als Zusatzinfo. Wir haben es, ich muss mal kurz gerade gucken, sozusagen Primetime, 7:45. Ich finde, wir singen gerade noch mal eine Runde. Let's sing again, because we all wanted to learn the song. do you need the text again? Yes, please.
Danke, bitte gern. Ja. Let's stand up. Move your feet. You can as well snap if you like to.
People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground.
Stand louder.
People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground.
Once more.
People gonna rise like the water. We're gonna face this crisis now. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, keep it in the ground.
Einmal kurz schütteln. Das alles einmal shake it off. Ich habe jetzt viel gehört, viel aufgenommen. Wenn ich übernehmen darf an der Stelle, dann habt ihr vielleicht den Impuls, dass ihr euch hinsetzen wollt wieder. Und vielleicht habt ihr auch den Impuls, dass wir hier in Karlsruhe eine Botschaft lassen wollen, dass das aufhören soll. Und dafür möchten wir euch 2 Angebote machen, wie wir das machen können. Do you have the letter here, James? Actually, I brought it printed. I should have it. Yeah. Shall we read it out loudly?
It's kind of like 3 pages.
Okay. Should we read an excerpt of it?
Yeah.
In a moment?
Ich schaue, dass es digital
Es gibt einen Brief aus Louisiana für Karlsruhe. Und diesen Brief möchten wir morgen an die ENBW übergeben. Und wir laden euch und alle anderen herzlich dazu ein, uns zu unterstützen, indem wir draußen vor der Tür diese rote Linie markieren und einen friedlichen, aber starken Protest machen dagegen. Diesen Brief, wir zeigen euch gleich einen Ausschnitt davon. Ich finde ihn sehr stark, sehr klar und genau, macht ganz in Ruhe. Und für diesen Brief als Unterstützung wollen wir unsere rote Linie ausrollen. Deswegen laden wir euch jetzt gleich dazu ein, aktiv zu werden. Wenn ihr den Impuls habt und sagt, ich möchte meine Hand dafür da lassen, dann können wir uns gleich dort draußen an der kreativ oder an der Farbstation treffen und die Hände drauf machen. Das dauert auch eine Weile und ich würde dann einfach vorschlagen, dass wir alle rausgehen in das schöne Abendlicht und uns dort auch weiter unterhalten mit den Speakern. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Wow.
When the projector is projecting it. Yes, in a second.
Dieser Brief wurde in den letzten Tagen fertiggestellt. Ich kann an dieser Stelle sagen, dass wir ENBW angefragt haben, ob wir sie treffen können für ein Gespräch. Jetzt muss ich diplomatisch antworten. Wir konnten uns leider auf keinen Termin einigen, wo sie können und wir können. Deswegen findet es leider jetzt nicht statt. Wir lassen aber nicht locker, sondern wir werden in Karlsruhe weiter dranbleiben und überlegen miteinander, wie es da trotzdem zu einem Gespräch kommen kann. Leider können Misha und James den Brief jetzt nicht persönlich an die Geschäftsleitung übergeben. Wir werden aber trotzdem den Brief morgen irgendwie in die Zentrale bringen und abgeben wollen. Und wenn es ein Briefkasten ist. Was steht in diesem Brief? James, would you want to read just a part and we hear it from you?
Yeah.
Just pick a part. Thank you.
Okay. I might read the whole thing. Oh, no. The main point, ENBW is owned almost entirely by the public. Don't make me say the state. The state of Baden-Württemberg and a union of its municipalities together hold roughly 98% of your company. That makes ENBW, in the plainest sense, a company that exists to do the work of the people. We're asking you to take that responsibility seriously because the work you are doing in our community is not the work of the people. It is the funding of harm. In your own report, you describe sending a delegation to the Venture Global liquefaction plants in Karlsruhe and Plaquemines. You write that the visit allowed you to better understand the impacts on fisheries, to assess compliance with air pollution limits, and to hear the concerns of local stakeholders. You write that you continue your dialogue with local stakeholders. We are those stakeholders. You refuse to meet with us today. We are the fisheries you came to assess, the people who breathe the air you came to measure, and when your representatives stood in front of us, what they offered was not accountability. They told us, in effect, that we should elect better people. The officials we elect did not finance these terminals. You did. A system that produces harm does so only because someone keeps it funded, and the funding is yours. Permits can be signed by our agencies, but the money that makes these facilities worth building flows from your contracts and from the loans behind them. ENBW will take 2 million tons of LNG from these facilities on 20-year offtake agreements. And you have described those agreements as fundamental security for the developers in financing the construction of the terminals. Without commitment like yours, terminals do not get built. And with them, the dredging, the emissions, the displacement, the harm, the public health impacts become a 20-year fact of our lives. We want you to understand what your delegation saw and what it couldn't see in a single tour. The air pollution causes cancer, asthma, miscarriages, heart disease. The environment, you destroy our estuaries. The dredge spoil killed oysters and completely ruined the season. This next is from the fishermen. The constant shipping noise and traffic drive away the shrimp. The dredge spoil has been so severe that there have been virtually no oyster season at all. Our fishermen are angry, and they have reason to be. They are watching an inheritance disappear, and the company importing the gas that pays for it treated them, in the words of one of our own, with needless rudeness. Cameron Parish residents took time away from fishing to describe in detail the injustices they are seeing and facing in the rapid expansion of Venture Global LNG. In turn, they were rudely interrupted, disregarded, and told that this is not ENBW's concern, but one of America's policies. It was heartbreaking and damaging experience for the fisher folk, vulnerably who showed up and left feeling broken and discouraged. People will forgive a hard truth. They do not forgive contempt. And then we speak a little bit about your own impacts. And we're not asking you to elect better people. We're asking you to be better people in the work you already control and to stop funding the creation of sacrifice zones.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
So you are welcome to join us tomorrow as we hand over this letter and as we say hello to ENBW. Yeah, we'll do that in a moment. Gibt es noch Fragen hier im Plenum an unsere zwei Speaker, die ihr gerne mit allen besprechen wollt oder die wir hier mit allen diskutieren? Ich übernehme mal für jetzt. Da ist eine Frage.
Did you invite the local press?
Did we?
Did you?
For tomorrow.
Yes.
For tomorrow.
Ja, willst du sagen?
Nee, ich weiß es nicht, aber ich weiß,
Ja.
ich weiß, dass es
Genau, also wir haben am Donnerstag eine Pressemitteilung rausgegeben, dass die Veranstaltung stattfindet mit den Gästen, mit den Betroffenen, sowohl heute als auch morgen. Presse ist informiert. Heute Abend ist keine gekommen, vielleicht ja morgen, oder? Doch, Presse, nee.
Ich bin sicher, dass der Brief an die Presse geht. Also ich habe den Brief bekommen.
Ja.
Ich finde den übrigens auch vorzüglich. Also selten so einen guten Brief gesehen, der wirklich so fundiert ist. Ich muss kurz übersetzen, genau. Der so fundiert ist und mit Quellen belegt, also nicht irgendwie, wir sind dagegen, sondern wirklich fundiert und ganz toll. Und das Klimabuch hat sich auch dazu entschieden, obwohl wir jetzt keine große Zeit hatten, alle unsere Mitglieder zu befragen, das zu unterstützen. Und soweit ich weiß, geht der Brief eben auch direkt an die Presse.
Genau. Genau, also dadurch, dass wir jetzt nicht empfangen werden, werden wir einen offenen Brief draus machen und den morgen auch sozusagen öffentlich machen. Ja, ihr habt ihn jetzt schon mal gesehen, morgen wird er öffentlich und wir machen dann auch eine Pressemitteilung aus der Aktion, also nach der Aktion dann. Ja, genau. Noch eine Frage.
Ich wollte noch fragen, ob daran gedacht ist, also ich habe gerade nochmal nachgeschaut, das Land Baden-Württemberg hält 47% an der NBW. Und es wäre total wichtig, auch das Land da in die Pflicht zu nehmen, die Wahrheit einfach wirklich auch wahrzunehmen. Also ob das nicht auch ein Plan wäre, an die neue, weiß nicht wer jetzt gerade, sorry, wer gerade Umweltministerin.
Wir haben kurz eine Übersetzungspause.
Ja.
Stopp, Entschuldigung.
Ja, natürlich.
Wir haben kurz eine Übersetzungspause.
Also sorry, den Anfang habe ich nicht mitbekommen, wie war die Begründung? Ja, die Anfang hatte ich. Ja, sorry, ich habe es nicht mitbekommen.
Die Landesregierung Baden-Württemberg hält 47% an der NBW, also ist mit 47% Stimmrecht auch letztlich verantwortlich, was die NBW machen kann.
So the government here is 47%